Hello, hello, and welcome to the Coaching Business Spotlight Show. I'm your host, Kat Connect, and I am excited about our topic and our theme for this month, soul driven action. Any of you know me, I am a person who likes to get into action. I get into action a lot. Action has never been an issue for me. The issue I have had probably my whole life is knowing what is the action to get into, and probably just as important, what is the action not to get into. I find myself, this has been especially true in my years in business as a coach, at times overwhelmed, exhausted. One of the things that I discovered, this was about 15 years ago, I made this discovery. So I've been a coach for a long time, and I kept noticing that the clients I was working with and myself, there was a certain formula where they were getting to action and it would really work out for them. And I said, I noticed this for myself. So, being a little bit of a personal growth scientist, I decided to explore and find out if there was, in fact, a magic formula. That's what I called it. I'm looking for a magic formula. What is something that every time I do it, it works out for me? And every time I help my clients to do it, this kind of action, it works out for them. And I found it. The good news is, if you don't already know, I found the formula. Here's the thing, I wrote a book about it. I call it the Soul Search. And I'm going to show you, if you're watching this on video, I'm going to show you a picture. This is the book. You can get it on Amazon. The Kindle version is free. So just, you want to put in my name, Kat Connect, KATKNECHT, because there's a lot of soul searching kind of books out there. You put in Soul Search, my name, this book will pop up. So I wanted to give you a heads up on that right now, because as I'm going to go into the soul search and I'm going to talk about it and how you might use it, just know you have the book available at any time. And I'm happy to send you a worksheet around this. Because once I discovered this formula and began writing the book, I created worksheets and I created an online course. I'm also happy to talk to you about that. I offer this online course. Anybody can purchase it at a fairly low price if you really get excited and you want to go through this process. So I just wanted to set that all up for you. Not that this is a sales call or a sales. This is more like if you really want to get the deeper information, like I usually do. So I discovered this and I started noticing it and actually working it myself and doing some research on what I called it when I first started out and I did my very first sermon. I called it the 7 ways of thinking. And I told the story about my kidnapping back when I was a teenager. And I tied these ways of thinking into exactly what I had done to save my life at that time, which is true. I actually saw that it happened then, as well as so many other times in my life when I've wanted something to succeed and it actually has come to fruition the way that I wanted it to. So, soul driven action means that you have accomplished something and not just the end result of it, but the way that you got there is the way that feels good. And if you like sink into that one for a moment, because the way that we get somewhere, the way that we achieve it actually is embedded in the results. You can't go about being out of integrity, cheating people, lying, things like that, and then and actually get the success you want and have it feel good. Doesn't feel good. I'm hoping for you. Maybe if you have a criminal mind, it does. But I even think then deep down inside, there's something that feels icky or wrong. So, what I discovered, and this has since, and I have a whole, again, this is another resource I'm happy to offer anyone who's interested. There's a whole neuroscience. I studied neuroscience for a while and found that these steps that I had come up with, looking at my own success and working with hundreds, maybe even thousands by then of clients and finding there was a certain way that they began to think that got them the results that they wanted. Okay, I'm going to give you the formula. We're going to walk through it. So now you have the heads up. You can get extra help with this. You don't have to hold this too tightly as you're listening because maybe you're driving. Lots of people tell me they're walking or driving as they're listening to the show. So you can just soft focus and know that you're going to be able to sit down and really work this if you want to get that soul-driven action and begin having the results that you want for yourself in your life and in your coaching business, because this formula works no matter what the circumstances. How it starts is I call it the narrative. In coaching, I think of this is where I would say, let's set the context. What's your topic? What do you want to get coached on today? Those are the questions we ask, right? What's important about it? What do you want to walk away with? That's all in the narrative. So, in a sense, this is also a tool that I offer to the people in my academy to use with their coaches, their clients. It's a self coaching tool, it's a tool that you can use with clients as well. Okay, but I'm thinking of it today for you coaches as a self coaching tool. So you are asking yourself, and you can do this in written form. You can do it just like I'm doing here with the podcast. You can put on a video and just start talking and ask yourself these questions. You can get a buddy to do it with. A buddy is a fun way to do it. Another coach. Perhaps you're like, oh, I've got an issue I really want to work through. You work it through with me. So you set the context, the topic. I call that the narrative. What most people do next is they start talking about the problem. Now, isn't this true in coaching? When you have a coaching client and they say, yeah, they usually name the problem first, but the topic I want to talk about or what I'm here is my job sucks. And then they start telling you all the reasons why it's so bad. And as coaches, we know that is not a very resonant place to coach from. So this is also coaching 101 in a sense. We want to take clients to higher ground first. In coactive, we call this resonance. We want them to have that resonance where they're feeling their own power. So we go to, in Soul Search, it's called the positive. In neuroscience, it's been proven that your brain changes. You get endorphin hits, other good things, when you go looking for something that's actually working. So take a minute and think about that. Instead of going to here's what's not working, you go to, well, here's what's working. I have a good support system. I have a VA, or I have a coach, or I have other coaches that I'm connected with. I'm passionate about this work I do. You find all the positive things that are working. So there's the topic. Now you're in the positive and you start feeling good and you start feeling the truth of it. The third place to go is one of the most important places, which is to name the negative that's swirling around in your brain, that's all tangled up. Most of our thinking is tangled. We have things that we're thinking, oh, that might work out, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm quite ready for it. And what if it doesn't? We go back and forth. It's so important to name the negative thoughts you have, negative feelings, negative meaning that it drags your energy down. That's all. Negative meaning that it has you going to a lower realm of feeling about yourself. You just go blank, or you go, oh, it's just not ever going to work out for me. And you start feeling that feeling, name it. I'm afraid it's not going to work out. I don't think I have what it takes. I doubt my ability to actually keep up with this. Name the negative. The important piece of naming the negative is to put a boundary. It's not that it's true. And guess what? It's not that it's false either. True, false doesn't really matter. It's a way you're thinking that's dragging your energy down, so you name it. Don't have to do anything with it. This is the important piece. You never want to create from the negative. So imagine a battery, let's say, that's all charged up and you want to go have something run for a very long time. You want that battery charged up, right? If the battery is drained and now you're going to try to do something with it, but the battery is not going to help you, right? It's going to be dead. That's your energy. If you create from the negative, you will include that negative energy in whatever you do. This is why overworking, doing, I've got to get it done, I should have, never works. It's not a mindset that works. So name the negative, name it to tame it, put a boundary around it, only a couple of minutes, and then move to inspiration. This is the next step. Inspiration simply means that you go to that place in you, that higher self. Or if you have a spiritual concept, you connect with that source energy. If you have a belief in God, this is a good time to call on that. Whatever takes you to higher ground, that bigger, more than this thing that you're working on right now, and you feel it. Oh, wow, I'm inspired. And it can be something literal. Oh my gosh, I'm inspired by my tenacity that I'm still willing to look at this stuff. You can be inspired by nature. I'm inspired that the world is so beautiful. There's got to be something good here for me. So you get yourself to that inspired way of feeling. That's the main piece. You want to feel inspired. Once you have that feeling, you ask yourself, what do I want now? Now that you've looked at the positive things you have, you've cleared out the negative, you're anchored in inspiration. Now it's time to look at what you want. It could be, what do you want with this topic right now? I think it's better with this soul search process. You can say your big want. I want to have $1 million. That can be, but that's more a vision. That's more, you can have a vision and you can soul search your vision. There's a whole visioning process because I spent all of January talking about it and doing workshops and other things. This is more of a daily, of a weekly, of a what's here right now, what we do in coaching, right? Where we ask our clients, let's look at what's happening for you right now. So this is, what do you want today? What do you want this week? What do you want around this right now? You get that desire, whatever that is. This next piece is the hardest part of the whole soul search process. It's imagining. So let's play with this for a minute. So let's say my desire, I'm just going to play with something random. My desire is to have a new pair of red shoes. I've been using this as an example a lot. And it just tickles me because I really do want a pair of red shoes. I used to have a pair of red boots that I loved that now my sister has because I got some issues with my feet and I can't wear them anymore. So I would love, my desire is to have a pair of red shoes or boots that look cool and are good for my feet. That's my desire. So I imagine ways to get these red shoes. I imagine that I go shopping in Santa Barbara when my sister and I are going there next week, and I look around the shoe store and I ask the people, because this is for healthy feet, do you have any red shoes? Do any of these come in red? And I get some hits. I imagine I just go wandering around online, some of my favorite stores, and as I'm searching, I just put in red shoes, red boots. Or I imagine I ask my Chat GPT, what's a brand of shoes that they have a red shoe or boot? That's cool. So there's imagining things that you can imagine that are linear, fairly practical, very doable. You also want to imagine things that are a little outlandish, magical. I imagine that I go to the mail today and there's a pair of red shoes my friend Corinne sent me because they reminded her of me and she remembers that I wanted this. I imagine that in my inbox today, there's an advertisement for the most perfect red shoe. I can't even believe it. And it's on sale for half price. I imagine this is, again, a little that I go to our local thrift store that I hardly ever go to because it's kind of part of out of town that I don't go to often. But I just get a hit. I'm going to that help that it's called Help of Ojai, and right there on the shelf, I can't even believe it, is a pair of red boots. And the brand is Born, which I know is good for my feet, and it's in my size. I can't even believe it. This is how you imagine. Now, I happen to be pretty good at imagining, and you can be good at it too. If this seems like it's a bit of a stretch, I want you to think about your that child within, that part of you that plays, that can actually think about that part of you that has already imagining how you want this dream, how can imagine how the dream might be at the end. Now bring that imagination in and imagine ways it could happen. One way I go about this that I really like is first maybe think about how you use your imagination. You don't even use it, it just automatically happens when things are not going well. Or you think things are, you can imagine, oh my God, nobody's going to buy that. I imagine that my teenage child is out driving and they get into a car crash, or they come home late at night, or they're doing drugs. I did a lot of imagining when my kids were teenagers. Right? We can imagine. Oh gosh, I imagine that my taxes go up, or I imagine that I'm going to get a big bill or something. Like we can future, we call it future tripping. We can imagine negative things in the future. This is using that same part of your mind, that imagination that everybody has it and has access to it. It takes an effort. And the reason is that saboteur, that inner critic, wants to intrude and say, no, that's not going to happen. That sounds silly. That's going to be hard. The key to imagining is to imagine for as long as you possibly can. If you're writing this down, aim for 20 to 30 things, ways you imagine this one desire could happen. Because this is what you're going to base your action on. One of the experiences that I have often, and I've been doing this now. I know it's been at least, I'm trying to think, I think this book came out 10 years ago. So I've been doing this a long time. I've taught classes on it. This is what I did when I was a minister, an interfaith minister. I would travel to different churches around the country. New Thought churches like Unity and Center for Spiritual Living were my favorites. I went to other places. I did a workshop and I would take people through this process. So I know it really, and I would love for you to know it really well, because here's the very best part. When I'm sitting down at my desk, specifically maybe on a Monday morning, and I'm looking at my work agenda and I'm like, oh, I do this a lot. Okay, what's most important? What do I do? The topic is my work week. I need to move things forward with my marketing. I have an event coming up in a couple of weeks. I got to do some work on it. Oh my gosh, I haven't been reaching out to other organizations trying to look to see if there's a match with my online business training course. I said I was going to do it, but I haven't done it. Any of that sounding familiar to you? That happens to me mostly on a Monday morning. I do the soul search. I do it every day as a part of my daily writing, but on Mondays, I really go at it. I'm getting to the part I haven't forgot. I'm going to tell you the part that's most exciting. I start out not having any idea what I'm going to do this week. And the most magical moments happen when I'm done during the soul search and I catch myself in action without even having to think about it. Because I've put those things that I imagined down, and one or two of them has sparked something in me. You can call it my heart, my soul. I get sparked. That is a very different way about going about action than I should. I have to. And I want to put in a little, what is it, a disclaimer, a caveat, something here, because I know there are times when I have to do things I don't want to do. Do you have that? I don't want to do it. It's hard or boring, or it's going to take a really long time, and I really don't want to do it. This helps me so much, even with those actions where I first imagine What is a way? Because you want to look at, if I'm going to take this action, what do I want to get from it? First of all, that's the desire. First, you go to, I'm not just taking this action. So you might want to go back. If you find yourself in that place where you're taking a should action, go back to the desire. What do you really want? So you're clear on that. And then spend time in that imagining until you find the action that feels good. Now, it could be as simple. It's one of the ways I love to imagine. I imagine I spend a half an hour responding to emails, and after that half an hour, I get a treat. So there might be a way that you give yourself a reward in your imagining. I imagine I buy myself that new thing I really wanted as soon as I've finished creating this webinar that I'm creating. As soon as it's done and ready to go, I'm going shopping. Can be another way to imagining and get into that soul driven action. I call it creative action because there's a construct that I've learned in different self-help books. One specifically was Lynn Grabhorn, who talked about creative action. There's reactive. So we can be reactive. That's where we're coming from fear, where it was talking about the negative. And you're being reactive. And that kind of action is where you get the mixed results. Sometimes you get something that works out okay because action can lead to something, but it's mixed. Creative means you are accessing that part of you, that creative part of you. In coactive, we call it naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. You access the creative part of you that goes, oh, I know how to do this, because you want to use your strengths. It's not just the inspiration that comes earlier, using your imagination, but when you get to action, you really want to go, oh my gosh, what's the best way I know to do this? How could I make this easy? What would make it fun? Who do I need to talk to? A lot of times, my creative action is getting somebody to help me or at least buddy up with me on something. Okay, so now I've taken you through those 7 steps. Narrative, you set the context, you set a topic for this soul search. You find all the positive things that are already working in this area. Then you name the negative thoughts and doubts and feelings you have, and you let them go by stepping on higher ground, connecting with your higher self, your spirit, a spiritual or that source realm that you believe in, if that's your belief. And from there, you choose one thing you want, a desire, and then you imagine 10 to 20 or more ways this desire could be fulfilled. And then you find what's the one that's creative? What's the one that sparks you to go, yeah, that's how I like to do things. And here's the last part, you do it. Very important. You actually take action. Nothing good happens without action. And the action can be a doing action and it can be a being action. An action could be, I'm going to contact 10 people today and just to connect with them. An action can be, I'm going to put my marketing message out on LinkedIn. An action can be, I'm going to find a coach, a mentor coach to help me with my business. Or an action can be, I am going to give myself 2 hours today to rest and relax and reset before I come back to my work. An action can be, I am going to do all my exercises that make me feel good and give me energy before I start my workday. An action can be, I'm going to set up a play date with one of my friends so that when I'm done with my workday or my work week, oh, I know that I'm going to have some fun and get into that yummy place with my friend. So really be clear with yourself when you're getting into creative action that it feels good. It comes from that higher place you got to earlier. It has something in it that sparked your imagination, and you actually do it. Then look for the results because this is what I did. when I created this soul search process. Look for the results. What happens because of the action that you took? And now there's a whole new opening for you. Oh, I see. That felt pretty good. You'll see. You can dissect it. Once you take the action, then you want to keep going. That soul driven action. Once you get a taste of it, I'm going to land it with this. And I say this in my blog. There's a linear piece. When you're looking, I'm going to bring it specifically down to your coaching business. When you're building a coaching business, there are linear steps to take. I have created my Evolve Your Coaching Business course step by step. I continually am told that the steps work and I see the results. You take the steps and you get the results. They're linear steps to take, but 100% of the time, the people in my program who succeed keep an eye on the soul driven part. There are many things in my courses that have my coaches looking at what's in their heart and soul, what brings them alive, where they most want to have impact, what are their values. These are the things that go with the linear pieces. And I've been told at times, people I do a consult, they're like, yes, I don't know if I want something. I just want to just tell me what to do. And if I could, really and honestly, I would, if that ever worked, but it never has. In order to succeed in a coaching business, because it's not like having a hardware store where you don't really need to know yourself to be able to promote selling hammers and nails. In a coaching business, you not only need to know yourself, you need to grow yourself. And in order to know and grow yourself, as you build your coaching business, you need to stay connected to your own wisdom, to your own higher good, to your own intuition, to your own knowing. That's soul driven action and that's soul driven success. So stay tuned. I'd love to know how that goes for you. I love it when you reach out to me. Again, I'm happy to send you a worksheet. If you're in my community, I can just drop it into the resources, real easy for you to get. I have a lot of resources. As I said, you can get my book on Kindle off Amazon. Next show, I'm going to do the soul search with an actual person. We're going to take you through this. For this woman, Tara Ware is coming on. She's going to be talking about her coaching business and how to get into soul-driven action on something she's working on. You won't want to miss it. It's one of my favorite types of shows when I do live coaching. I've done it several times before. If you want to look through the archives, every year I do at least one soul search process with one of the coaches in my community. If you would like to have this for yourself, I would love to do a live coaching with you, take you through this process I just went over live on the air. Just contact me and we'll set it up. Okay. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.